Hungaroring in Budapest in Hungary. This track is well known for being unable to overtake, and I've just got the stream set up in time for the race as well, so it looks like we are ready to go. It's proved to be an interesting race tonight. One thing to note already before we start qualifying is that Total Peas will be unable to race tonight, so he's absent. As we've already got a view in the stream. Good evening. So unfortunately, Peas was unable to race, so that means that Jonathan Cox is in a fantastic position to extend his championship lead. It's already 30 points through just sheer consistency and good pace throughout the season. You know, I think Peas generally all around has had the best pace, but he's just either missed a lot of races or a lot of DNFs, so unfortunately he won't be racing tonight. But apart from that, we've got the usuals and we've got some new faces as well. I'll go through them as well at the start of the grid. As we know, the one-shot qualifying system here is it's quite quick and rapid, so we're not sure what's going on. And again, the first lap, the leaderboard's all over the place. We've got 3 viewers and 2 comments already, so just give me a second whilst I get the stream loaded up. But yeah, good evening to anyone watching tonight. I'm on my own for tonight as well. I've had a long day at work, so it's nice to sit back and relax. I've had no VIL before this race, so I'm fresh and ready to go for commentary. I've got a bottle of water next to me, and away we go then for the qualifying, as you'll have to give me a second. But at the moment we head into turn 1. Then let's go on board with Andreas, shall we, the Swedish driver. He's had a pretty decent season so far, although he needs to capitalise on a lot of races perhaps where there's attrition, and also as well he is prone to making mistakes. So I think he could be clean today, the number 62. He could be in for a good race. Again, Galato is up there, and one driver to note as well that's up there in the first sector is Reg, but he's dropped down to 5th. So at the moment it looks like it's between Andreas and Galato as Gods and Crooks retired from the race. Now you'll have to apologise for this 1 second, as I've been deafened by the sound of my PlayStation. You're going to miss the middle sector, but I'll try and get back as quickly as I can, due to the fact that I'm being deafened by my controller due to the fact I'm having to change my headset because of technical difficulties. So I'm having to use earbuds for tonight. So again, if I sound different, apologies for the viewers of the stream, but I will try my best. So Paulie Orange at the moment looks set for pole position, and remember, some drivers might be on the mediums, but at the moment Goz, Liam and Crooks have all retired. Ellen's on 16, so he must have made a mistake. So's Lost Soul. It's quite a mixed up grid, but as we come to the line then, it looks like Galato will take pole position, and he does by 1/10 of a second. Just over a 10th to Paulie Orange. So once again, the Haas driver there shows some good pace, but it's this man again, the Jamaican driver, Galato. Fantastic bit of form since his debut in Spain, has drove fantastically. So that's your grid then for the race. Galato in pole, then Paulie Orange and Andreas in 3rd place. Immortal, he was reserved in France a couple of rounds ago, so it's good to see him back. I do not want to lose the session there. Fatality currently in 5th place. The German driver again very consistent this season, I've got to say. FTH is usually up there as well, but again just ain't no trouble. Now one thing to note as well is Droftos and Jonathan both started on the mediums, and they're only 15-0, and they're only a couple of attempts off the few drivers ahead of them, so that could be interesting to start. Again, because they're on the softer tyre, it might be because on the harder tyre, apologies, it might be a bit more difficult to get temperature into. Again, Miles top 10, good result there. Irej, my former teammate in this league, good to see him in the top 10 there. And then all the drivers below him will be starting on their own tyres. So we've got 19 drivers tonight, so Quicksilver and Golf didn't set a time. Aylin disqualified, so Harvey's, Lost Souls, Ole, Trent and Ferg, who is driving in the seat I used to have, I think in place of Evil Hunter tonight, as he's unable to race. We've also got something to note as well, is Energetics is unable to race tonight as well, so we won't see the Dutch driver try and bounce back from a difficult race in Britain, you must say. He was sliding around. Okay, so we've got some comments on the stream then. Andrea saying hello, Andrea saying dry race, and Jonathan saying softs will wear that off 6 to 8 lap. Yeah, it's quite a heavy track for tyre wear. It's definitely, if you're starting on the softs, it's a 2-stop guaranteed. I mean, if you're tyre saving God, perhaps you can try and do it with a safety car, but again, a safety car has other people pitting, track position and whatnot, it puts you back down. So as I have all the races that commented in this league, this is the one I've had the more energy for, simply because I've had no league race before. So I'm ready to go. I've got my drink of water again there with me, so I was just waiting for the driver to put the setup. So Ferg's racing again, the reserve. I think he raced in the Alpha Tower. He did a fantastic result last week. Again, I said to top 10, but I think starting as a top 10 this track isn't a bad thing. I think on track position and strategy, maybe not overtaking, obviously it's quite difficult to overtake. It's known as Monaco without barriers. Monaco without barriers and a bit of grass. And plus it's not in Monaco, so yeah. So we're just waiting for Liam then to pick his setup, and then we should be good to go. I'm not sure what's going on here. Perhaps some problems with the game. Again, we'll just wait. Apologies here. Just give me a second. Excuse me, I am okay. Nothing. I'm nothing. I'm not still. Right, so let's go for the grid then, shall we? As Galato just has to go on the grass then the formation lap. That's not a good idea. Right, so we've got Galato in pole position then, and he's followed by Paul Orange on the front row. Andreas, good qualifying there for the Williams driver. He's up to third. He's up to third. He starts in third. Good drive there. Hopefully he can capitalise on the drivers around him in the championship, perhaps try and get a good result tonight. Again, Jonathan on their medium, so he'll be able to go along in that first stint. So once he's top 6, 7, depending on who and what happens at the start, you know, it could leave Droftat again in a good position. We've seen him on strategy-wise being in a good position, and he definitely has the pace to, if he was a full-time driver, to get some good results and really be in this championship fight. Again, we're over the halfway point now in the championship, which is crazy to think. I mean, it's been a really interesting championship, and it's been very open at times as well. You don't know who's going to win. Meanwhile, so we've got, so Moto Fatality, FTH dropped off. Jonathan on the fourth, John Jofferson on the fourth floor. Mars and he moves around at the top 10. Now let's have a look, let's get the lap data and the track map full, shall we? And in terms of detail, let's get the time on. So Trem's going for a different interesting strategy here on hards. Ferg did go on the mediums in the McLaren there, number 22, so all my support there to the McLaren driver, not biased at all. Ole there in 13th place, the Norwegian driver, and behind him is Lost Souls. Harvey Lee's making his debut then around Artanaut, so good luck to that, good luck to him. Alan there, Mr. Consistent, in P16 on the hards. Gods and Liam in the Alfa Romeo. They've had some difficult races recently, so hopefully they can get it together. And Crooksy rounds off the grid again. He's had a couple of podiums, but can he have a good race from 19th? Let's see what happens then, shall we? We've got all 19 drivers. We're one driver out, full house now. That's still good to see. Then here we go then. 5 red lights left on the leaderboard, but I'll try my best to make sure that I know what's going on. We're going to go to 5 red lights any second now, and we do. It's 3 lights, it's 4 lights, it's 5 lights. And we're underway then. And Galato gets a good start off the line there. We've got some drivers slowing down at the start. It is Galato that does make a good start. Andreas as well, everyone gets away cleanly. As we head into the first corner left to ignore the tower at the top again, it's doing very weird things. So it is Galato that leads from Paulie Orange, and Andreas is side by side there. Oh, he was. Immortal is behind. Again, I'm not sure what's going on as Treminator keeping it clean, but again, everyone is keeping it clean. Harvey's lost a couple of places here. I don't think something damaged. I generally think he's just had a difficult start. The leaderboard will sort itself out any second. Oh, we've got Ole spinning, and the scenes in the first race as Treminator just squeezes Crooksy, and Harvey gets caught up there with Lost Souls. I don't think he realised he was there. Yellow's sector 2, so the Norwegian driver is now at the back of the grid. I don't think he's got any wing damage, luckily enough. But he's down in 19th, and that's not good to see. He's looking for a good result, and he's sliding about, so possibly his tyres are a bit it must be very warm right now. So Galato then in first place, and he's followed by Paulie Orange. We've got a movement at the back there between Liam and God, so Liam's got a head on them hard tyres, and Harvey Lees now gets past God, so I think the Gods is struggling, so once again a difficult race for one of the CRX lads. Meanwhile, the other one, Miles, is up to 11th at the moment, so he's just outside the points. But let's have a look then at who's won in the start. Crooksy, good start there, 6 positions gained, fantastic to see. Meanwhile, FTH did make it up to 5th. Immortal currently is, as FTH puts a bit of slide on there. Goss has pitted, so I believe he must have got damage from the start with that incident with Ole, I believe. But meanwhile, the Turkish driver, he'll be happy this weekend. F1 going to the Istanbul circuit. But today he's going to focus on his own race, a virtual kind, around Hungary. So let's see how he can do. As he sits behind AC Immortal, as he's no longer ghosting, which is good to see. I'll go from when we had internet problems. Meanwhile, Jonathan is in 6th, so 6th, he's in 8th. Droftas there made a one position. Fatality must have had a difficult start, and it will only get worse as time goes on because them softs will wear away so quickly. And Jonathan will be right behind him on their mediums. He'd want to get past him, stay with Droftas. That's a good plan. Again, just keep it clean because it's easy to get penalties around this track as well. I feel like it's all goal this race so far. Then so 3 laps gone over. I believe there is a glitch there with the timing. I believe we are on lap 2, so you'll just have to ignore that. Unless I've completely missed a lap in my head. No, we are on lap 3, so you'll have to ignore the time at the top. It might be a bit of a glitch for Paul the Orange then, staying with Galato at the start of the race, but it's a good start from the Renault. Fastest lap there for Paul the Orange as well. That's good to see. We'll have a look then at any battles going on. FTH is really close to Mortal, and Droftas now on the inside of FTH. Can he get the move done into the hairpin? Remember Daniel Ricciardo in real life did do the move around the outside there in 2014. As we head now up towards the end of the first set to the blind left-hander. If you get a good run here, you might be able to go for move into this other hairpin coming up with the awful inside curve, I must say. But no, he stays behind. But he hates that. You're under pressure from the Mercedes and locking up again. So them softs already look like they've seen better days. We've got yellow flagged again, and I think that's Terminator. Yeah, Terminator having their moment. Then I believe yes, it was on the dodgy hairpin. I believe he must have touched the inside curve because that's where he did spin. It's a difficult corner. And it can be a right pain in a certain area if you get that wrong. At the moment, Golsen right at the back on them hard types, so he's going to go long into the race. But meanwhile, let's have a look at this gap then, shall we? So Andreas, as we've got a battle going on now near the top, we've got Fergs getting past Erej there for 9th place, which is good to see. We'll go back with the battle then as Droftas is all over the back of FTH. DRS is enabled to the inside. FTH is giving him the move. That's fantastic to see. Now his teammate says he might be backing him up into the Welshman. The side-by-side defends the hairpin, but he'll have the outside line. And I think FTH has done enough to keep him ahead again as we got yellow flags, and I think that's Fatality. Fatality has dropped down to 17th now. I'm not sure what's happened there. But the German has dropped all the way down to 18th place, so that's not good for the Ferrari-powered cars today. That's both Ferraris and both Alfa Romeos down in the bottom 5. So again, he might have just had a moment, but I didn't see anything. And he's got wing damage as well, and he's picked up a penalty, so his day goes from bad to worse. Unfortunately for the German driver, Mr. Consistent, as I said, commentator's curse, I believe. Yeah, it's a shame for the Ferrari driver there. Again, we'll have a dry race, so there won't be a chance of any wet. But again, safety cars are quite common in this track, but the fact we've still got 19 drivers in is good to see. I think we had this last time in Britain as well, not many retirements, so it's good to see everyone's driving quite clearly, very clearly. We've had some moments, but again, it's a difficult track to overtake. You go too wide at any point in this track, and it could end up in disaster. Meanwhile, let's talk about the Red Bull then, shall we, as FTH goes to the outside, but Droftas actually goes through. I know he actually goes to the outside, the 3 wide, and Droftas hits the back of Immortal, was lagging and wing damage. And Immortal now side by side, but FTH is through there. I don't know what was going on, I must have got confused. Droftas to the outside of his teammate, the Black Arrows Mercedes, the beautiful livery. The side by side, can Droftas get the move done? They're still side by side, Immortal's not giving this up here. Civil war between the Mercedes. As if the Immortal gets a time penalty and Droftas gets the move done, and now Jonathan Cox will have a look. Oh no, and he's sent Immortal to the spin. But luckily enough, there was nothing to it. And he's able to carry on. Jonathan goes to the move. Ooh, very, very, very touchy there. Not the correct word. Close call there, though. Definitely Jonathan going for a move in place, perhaps where he could have been more patient. And if that's giving him wing damage, that might affect his race, but it doesn't look like it. However, though, that's you got to be patient, John. Mate, you got to be patient. Immortal there definitely was ahead. Luckily enough, Jonathan did break just enough. But that gap is definitely been pulled out between the top 2 and Andreas, and at the moment it is Paul the Orange is having a fantastic few races as Immortal there dropped into the pits. He was definitely losing a lot of time, So the Mercedes driver there, who was third last time out in France, I believe he was in the top 10. But unfortunately he's got a fast second time penalty as well, so his day goes from bad to worse. And it would just be a quick pit stop, no wing damage. Meanwhile, we've got a battle going on here, and there is a train of cars starting to form behind Mars now on those soft tyres. Let's go to what tyres they're actually all on. So here we go then. So it is Erasure and Mars that are possibly holding up Lost Souls, Cruxy, as Cruxy now is eyeing up a move on the Austrian driver here. He's not going to go for a move to the inside, is he? And he thinks better of it, but he's very close, and he nearly slides, nearly spins there, or nearly takes out Lost Souls with him. He is all over the back of his gearbox, but that's also inviting Ellen to the battle. We've got yellow flags here. What's going on here? What's going on at the front? And that's Mars that's nearly been spun around. I'm not too sure what's happened there, but Mars has lost a bit of time. I don't think he's got any wing damage. I'm missing out on all the key events here, but at the moment I don't think it was anyone up top. I think it was this battle here. Meanwhile, Cruxy and Aylin are side by side, and Aylin took advantage of being packed up, and Harvey leads to the inside. Oh my goodness me, what is going on here? And he's side by side, and Aylin's hit. Oh no! Oh no, no, no! And Aylin got sent into Cruxy, and Cruxy's hit the wall. I think we might have a full course yellow here, and the Haas and the racing pointers respect to Aylin there. He lets Cruxy pass as he goes into the pits. Aylin carries on, but does he have wing damage? And oh no, Harvey Leach went for an ambitious move there. I'm not quite sure what happened. I've got a VSC. It isn't a safety car. As FTH, Irej, Ole, Cruxy and Liam Pitt. I'm missing out on all the battles here. But wow, the good rest is enabled to be all green flags again. So we'll keep an eye on this battle then, shall we? So I think what happened was Harvey Leach just went to the inside. Cruxy and Aylin, I think quite obviously were quite surprised by it. As now we've got Lost Souls to the outside of Fergs. As he's side by side, he has to run to the curb. Lost Souls there was not. He was either do or die there for him. He was going to go for the move, but I think Fergs is struggling at the moment. I'm not sure if he has wing damage or not. Let's have a look, shall we? No, he doesn't have wing damage. But again, to get wing damage around this track, it definitely makes your race quite difficult. And FTH actually benefited from this because he pitted under the VSC, so he didn't lose too much time. Obviously, VSC neutralises the whole grid, so that Harvey Lee's incident. As we got yellow flags, and I think now the racing point has spun there, and Mars resets the track and he moves out the way. So yeah, yellow flags. He spins at the end of sector 2, and probably on the outside curb. It is very lethal as he goes to the inside. Ghosts. I'm not sure if he realised Terminator was there, or it game glitched out. But Andres is into the pits. And so is Galato as well. Paul Orange chased that for one extra lap. Now he was sat behind him, so he might be able to pull out a gap. Meanwhile, once again, it's that usual top 3 that I seem to be seeing every single race, or every single time I'm commentating. It is Paul Orange, Droftas and Jonathan. Not to take anything away from them, because they're doing exactly what is required, consistently up there in every race. But again, obviously they haven't pitted yet. Jonathan's in a very good position right now, almost 2 seconds away from Jonathan. So I'm not sure where Jonathan's starting to struggle. Ferg's further back in 4th place, so he must have got past Ferg. I'm missing out on a lot of battles here. Meanwhile, there's another battle going on here between Galato and FTH. So FTH has actually come out in front of Galato, and that's really important, because he was down, I believe, in 6th or 7th place when the 5th when the VSC came out, when he made his pit stop, and Galato was leading. So now he's stuck behind FTH. This might give Paul Orange an opportunity here to come out in front, and Terminator as well. I'm not sure whether it's holding him up. His teammate, I don't believe he is. He's most likely going to move out of the way. Obviously, FTH is probably the fastest driver here. But at the same time, nothing can stop him battling. Again, this is what it's all about, battling. But that incident with, as Galato hits the back of FTH there, well, I'm stuttering my words, apologies there. He's all over the back of FTH. Can he get a better run here? Now this is interesting, because FTH will have Geras and his teammate, and so will Galato. We'll go with FTH, that ball camera, for the best camera to look at. And as we head into turn 1, FTH will go to the outside of his teammate. Nice and clean, locks up a little bit. Galato will get involved in it as well, and I'm not sure what's happened there, but Galato's actually come out in front of FTH, so I think Galato was able to just get his nose in, and as a result, that means that now FTH is into 10th place. That's 10th place, and Galato's up to 9th, so that's really important. Meanwhile, Paul Orange is staying out for another lap. Now, unfortunately, this will just mean that Droftas will take more and more time out of him. So that undercut opportunity is, we got yellow flags, and I'm not sure what's going on here, and it's Harvey Lee's that's spun. So was he battling with any other drivers? I don't believe he was. And the Renault driver there has spun all the way down to 13th place. It's a difficult race for the... as we got another yellow flag, so that's FTH. And FTH has now spun it as well. So we've got, a bit like Turkey in real life, we've got drivers spinning everywhere here. And FTH is struggling with his tyre temps, and he'll have to slow down. And he nearly spins it again as he locks up. He's definitely going to be falling down the order, unfortunately. That's such a shame for the Turkish driver as well. As Paul Orange hits the pits, and let's have a look then, shall we? As he's all over the back of Treminator now. So FTH much has spun on his own then. Andreas right behind Galato, all over the back of Treminator. Where will Paul Orange come out here? This is really interesting. Will he come out in front of the Renault? And he will do! Apologies there. And Paul Orange will take the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, the net lead you could say, as Ole gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And yet, Paul Orange, the undercut work being held up by Treminator and FTH has definitely benefited Paul Orange on much softer, much newer hards as well, might I add. And Crooksy has retired from the session. I believe he might have crashed on the start straight, and I think we have a safety car. So Crooksy there crashing on the main. I'm not too sure what happened. I think he must have just lost it out the final corner. We'll have a look on the mini map. As yes, we'll rewind the stream, have a look. He did spin it on the main straights. That's such a shame for the Racing Point driver. He started last, made quite a few positions up, and then obviously had that incident with Aylan, so sent him to the back again. And then going back to that incident with Harvey Lees, who's down in 18th himself. It was a very strange incident. I think Crooksy and Aylan were very surprised, and then when he realised Aylan had to move, didn't realise Crooksy was there, and it all ended in tears, unfortunately. So again, shame for them drivers. We're good to see Aylan still up in 5th place. He's very consistent, and we are back green flagged again. So we'll go back with a battle now for with Andreas and Treminator. And the Swede now is going to get past the British drivers very easily, I think. This Treminator is giving him a hard time, but Andreas should get the move done here. But this is what you like to see, nice clean racing. As Andreas to the outside, Treminator definitely fighting it here. It's not over yet, but I think Andreas has got the move done, and that's fantastic. Then he's up to 8th place, a second behind Galato on medium tyres, my tyre. Meanwhile, we've got the two Hasses here. Ooh, and a bit of team orders going on there. Gunter Steiner has ordered Paul Orange to go past Aylan, or Aylan has to let Paul Orange pass. Now this is interesting. Will Aylan do a bit of a wingman role here and hold Galato up? As Galato breaks much later, nearly goes into the back of it. It's a lovely shot as we go through the fast and flowing sector 2 here. Aylan though will be, as you can see, already a second and a half between the two drivers. Will Galato go for a move into this right-hander? I don't know what turn number it is, unfortunately. I've got to apologise. But in terms of the championship standings, Donovan's in a very nice position right now. Andreas is down in 8th and is behind Galato, who's behind the Haas now. Andreas, we know he's a Daniel Ricciardo-esque driver, the king of the late breakers. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we know he can pull off a good move or two. He's definitely a very good racer, very clean, might I add. Usually makes mistakes himself, or usually ruins his own race, unfortunately, and that's possibly why he's so far back in the championship. He could be up there, but not saying today he can't do anything. And Galato is past Aylan, as you can see there. Good move there by the Renault. He has to now catch up and pull on, but that gap is now 2 seconds. So Aylan's done his bit and held him up for where in the third sector where it's quite difficult to overtake, as Paul Orange gets a 3-second time penalty. Those dreaded words, multiple warnings once again. But Andreas is all over the back of Aylan. Is he going to go for moving to the in? As we've got Gods has retired from the session, so coming out the first corner, the Alfa Romeo is out of the race. That's such a shame. As Liam sets off again, so I'm not too sure whether he actually collided with him. And we've got yellow flags again. Now, is this a full safety car or a VSC? We'll have to have a look, shall we? I think we are. It is a VSC, and it is. So that's our third virtual safety car of the day. The safety car definitely doesn't want to come out. Now, this is going to benefit Droftas. He's going to go on the hards, which easily gets to the end if he can do 13 laps on fresh mediums. He's waiting there, I'm not sure what's going on. That's current masters at play. Now this is really going to benefit Droftas as he comes out of the pits now. He's going to come out nearly 5 or 6 seconds ahead of Paulie Orange here. What a fantastic strategic call there by the Mercedes driver. And Jonathan is 16.5 seconds ahead on those medium tyres still. But that means now that Droftas leads the Hungarian Grand Prix from Poly Orange and Galato. Fantastic. Just, you cannot say fantastic enough there by Droftas. A good opportunistic call. And once again, the Welshman has put himself in a position up at the top. And once again, it's 1-2 for Droftas and Poly Orange. It's becoming a regular pattern now, and I can't wait. If this is the final result, again, commentators curse. If not, or if it happens, Liam retires from the session in the pits. So it's been a difficult race for the Alfa Romeo lads today. It's been a difficult race for the Ferraris as well, and the Racing Points, who have all had problems. Liam has lost the session, unfortunately, so the Scott not really done much today, unfortunately. He couldn't get a good start, and he just wasn't able to pull it together. So Jonathan now pits, so this is interesting to see where he'll come out here. He probably will come out, I believe, behind between Terminator and Alan. Again, this can be a nice pit stop by the AlphaTauri lads. But let's go back with Droftas, shall we then? So fantastic again. For about 6th, 7th time I've said it, but when I've talked to these two lads, if they are or if they're not on the podium, it's going to be the same questions at the front of them again. Just staying out of trouble and consistently get the job done. Now, where will Jonathan come out? Will he come out in front of Andreas? And he will do. And just behind Galato as well. So that's a fantastic, again, strategical call there. And he was just behind the Renault driver for P3. The field's reasonably spread out at the moment. The closest battle is this one here between Jonathan Andreas and the British-Italian driver, the Swedish driver, and the other British driver. We've got Terminator and Alan, who are still yet to pit in this race. We've got 9 viewers on the stream, and we've got 4 comments, so good evening from wherever you are. Hope you're enjoying this race tonight. We've had a thrilling Hungarian Grand Prix at the moment. One of our strategy at the moment, where we've had overtakes, but at the same time, we've also had some unfortunate incidences where it's all gone wrong. And a lot of some of the drivers are down the back now, as Terminator is most likely struggling on those hard tyres. But he wants to go long on that first stint, runs a bit wide. He's currently P7. He's not scored points as of late, but at the start of the season, alongside myself and Fatality, we were usually in the points together, or somewhat similar pace. Now, one driver I definitely would have improved. He did get his first win to Monaco, I believe it was one of his first podiums. We've got yellow flag again. I think that's for FTH, so it's a difficult race for the Red Bull drivers. He does get overtaken by miles indeed. So Polo 666 with 66 there. I'm waiting to be 6.6 seconds behind Droftas, so I can complete this 666 themed thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. You'll have to ignore me there. I'm waffling. Meanwhile, so anyway. Yeah, I sometimes waffle when I don't need to. So Poly Orange then, 1.5 seconds behind Droftas at the moment. So it is Droftas that leads from Poly Orange and Jonathan, who's got Galato right behind. So Jonathan has got past Galato. I've missed that because I was too busy waffling about something else there. Apologies, actually. Again, I've missed out another battle, but Jonathan has got past Galato, so good move there. Galato might be struggling these tyres. The fact that he's 6 laps old, so the oldest out of the top 4. And can Jonathan start an assault now on Paul Orange? So this is the exact same top 3 we had in Britain as well. But Andreas is not too far behind as well on those mediums, and he might get past Galato in the next couple of laps. So again, this is still the closest battle as Galato locks up a bit there. Can Andreas get a nice exit out of this final hairpin? And what I've got to say, it's a very nice Williams delivery. Again, I'm sad that they get rid of the Rocket sponsoring, because I did quite like the sponsoring for Rocket. I believe it was quite nice. The people look like toothpaste, but I think it was quite an underrated livery. Anyway, enough about livery talk. We'll probably miss another incident, as we do indeed. And Harvey Lees, down in 15th there, has had a moment and is down in second to last. FTH did pit again then, and he's down in 16th, so a difficult race for the Turkish driver, who did win in Baku, remember, with a double points. The only double, or the second double points race we've had this season. So yeah, good race there, but not so good today, unfortunately. Hopefully still out of trouble. There might be a safety car, who knows. We're still well, not even halfway into the race. It's a quite a long race, remember. Hungary, over 70 laps in the full race distance, but obviously LNR is a 50% race distance, which is 35. So it's a long race ahead, and you've just got to make sure you stay out of trouble. Meanwhile, we've got a battle going on here then between Fergs and Immortal, and I think Fergs got the move done as Immortal follows him out wide. Immortal on those much older mediums, might I say. With Ferguson on those fresh hards, so he's now going to the end, and he's in a really nice position now. Meanwhile, up top then, Andreas 8/10, so he's not really gaining too much time since the last time we checked in with him. Maybe it's just because Galata's still got DRS on Jonathan. I think Jonathan will probably just be pushing to try and get Galata out of his DRS so he can put the assault on Paul Owens, but at the moment it doesn't look to be the case, as these two drivers seem to be one of their own. And once again, like Britain, we are having literally the exact same scenario here, or even in France as well, although the gap between Paul Owens and Droftas in that race, as we've Lossos has left the session, I believe he's retired as well, so unfortunately for the Austrian driver, that's his race over, unless he can be invited, but it looked like it might have been a retirement. He was outside the point, so we'll have to see what happens there. Lossos 80, number 90, so unfortunately it doesn't look like, I think that might be his race over. I believe, meanwhile, down in 15th. He's probably hoping for a safety car at the moment. Izzy Reg gets another 3-second time penalty. Isaac there. The gap between Galata and Jonathan is heading towards the second now. So if he can get a nice final sector, he might be able to DRS. As excuse me, that gap is now getting down to 2.5 seconds between Jonathan and Paulie Orange. So at the moment, it might be actually starting to reel in the Haas driver. Again, he's on the freshest hards, well, the most fresh hards, went that extra lap, so it actually helped him, and now he is actually ahead at DRS now, and this might help Andreas, who on those medium tyres is trying to go as long as possible. He'll have to pit again, so he might just, well, I'm trying to work out where he'll come out, but it'll be somewhere at the bottom of the point, so he'll have to have a monster final stint. At the moment, he does have the pace to be in the top 5, but in terms of strategy, it might be not be in a great position. FTH just another 3-second time penalty, but we'll go with battle here. Just outside the point of fatality is all over the back of Sierra Marcia, the racing point driver. Let's see what happens then, shall we? Fatality just not close enough there to the racing point driver, but we'll go back with this battle going on here. Between Treminator, Ferg and Reg, the two McLarens and the Red Bull. No bias at all towards the McLarens, but come on the McLarens. Apologies there towards the bias, but this used to be, I used to race in the McLaren, so it's nice. Ferg taking what used to be my seat, so good to see him up there in the top 8 again. Qualified to the top 10, and he's not got to pit again. Meanwhile, Aylen and Trem does, and they'll come out behind him. So at the moment, he's up for a net P6 at the moment. But that's if he can get past Terminator. He's doing a fantastic job. He's driving the widest car possible, but credit to him because he's driving very cleanly at the same time. He's just doing what he's got to do and parking it. But at the moment, I don't think he'll be there for long because Ferguson's got DRS and the slipstream. He'll go to the outside into turn 1 then. Round the outside goes Fergs, and Trevor just gives him enough room. This is fantastic racing, and Fergs is keeping his nose in front as well. Into the hairpin then. Oh, and Terminator there. Didn't realise he was coming down the inside and has to yield the position, which now will put him under pressure to the Swedish driver, Terminator. Definitely get his elbows out tonight. He said in the chat that he wanted to keep pushing. He had a difficult race in Britain, didn't he? After that moment when he was going to the grass a little bit, but getting out just because of his tyre temperatures. But it's good to see him come back with a vengeance. He's really pushing hard, and he's racing on the limit as well, which is good to see. This is what you want to see. Drivers pushing hard again, just on that limit. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with that, so that's good to see. But Ferguson's now starting to pull away. Terminator for doing a good job in P8. Again, he'll have to pit before the end of the race. Meanwhile, the battle up here, it seems to have spread out actually between the drivers. So Jonathan, only 2.4 seconds. Paul Orange must at this point be tired of seeing the back of that Mercedes. Considering he spent most of Britain as well behind him. Until the final lap, if you remember, but again on penalties he didn't win, unfortunately. But it was a very good drive by Droftas. Once again, these two are the ultimate consistency people. Ultimate consistency people? I'll go with that. Ultimate consistency people. They're very consistent at the moment. That's good to see. And again, Jonathan Cox bouncing off the podium, which in real life, this is the equivalent to Hamilton, Bottas and Verstappen, in where it is the usual suspects at the top 3 again. But this just shows how good this field is. It's very competitive. And I think one little bad race and you could fall down the championship standings. I think one good race and you're up there, especially with the double points as well. pointing off for pole position, so nothing is lost. And even though we're in a bad position, and Jonathan Cox there has a massive tank slapper whilst I'm talking about. Excuse me. Seriously, I've not got a cough. I'm talking too much. I'll take a sip of water. But yeah, in saying that, he makes a bit of a mistake and he's lost a lot of ground now to Paul Orange, 3.5 seconds, and Galato will below the back of him. Now obviously when he gets a couple of laps, he'll just be trying to bring in the temperatures back down after that little slide. So Jonathan might be struggling these next couple of laps. Keep in mind, Galato might be saving LS. We'll get to the telemetry and have a look then, shall we? So he's on 30% LS, Jonathan's on 12, so yeah, he's got a bit more LS to play with and use. Excuse me once again, I just wasn't able to take a drink. So Tremé did pit actually, and so has Aylin. Now it'll be interesting to see where he'll come out. He's going to have to pit for wing damage. So yeah, that incident did probably well, it cost him a lot of time in the first place, but also the fact that he was carrying around with that wing damage. So respect to him for carrying on there and pitting at his usual window. So he just comes out in front of Ole, I think, and very close as Ferg is out of the session. CGM Ferg has spun and he has hit the wall, and that is Ferg's out with the race. So we did see him quite a few times hog the inside curb, so I'm wondering whether he's either won wide or used a bit too much curb and hit the wall. So unfortunately that's the McLaren out of the race now. Are we under a VSC or have we got a another VSC? So for the 4th time today, that's another VSC. It's been a crazy race so far, and that's our 4th retirement of the race. Unfortunately, the Ferg is out of the race, so the McLaren had a very difficult race there. Was having a good race, apologies there. So he was having a good race, but unfortunately it all went wrong. So Harvey Lees at the moment is now a minute behind the nearest driver as we go green flags again. We'll have a look at any close battles on track, but I can't see any at the moment. E-Race does pit, so 18 Mortal jumps up to 6. Now, I'm talking about pit stops and whatnot. Treminator might be in a nice position here at the moment. Will he come out in front of E-Reg? Again, Trent will be on the mediums, so this will be interesting to see. Where will Treminator, Treminator, he will do. So, Trem there is having a fantastic race. So that first stint has worked out really well. Again, I think Andreas and Immortal will have to pit again before the end of the race. The gap between Galato and Galato and Jonathan, apologies there again, I'll need to stop apologising as well, is 7/10. So at the moment that gap is fluctuating between half a second and a second. Now Tremino will have the pace on those fresh mediums as well. It might take Isaac a little bit longer to get those hard warmed up, so if he can stay with Mars, he'll be in a nice position. Now I've got to say as well, Mars under the radar this race, or what? Fantastic drive by the Racing Point driver here tonight. He just completely gone under the radar and got the job done. He's up to P7. I believe he started outside the top 10 as well. So again, just good strategy, good call, and staying out of the trouble. Obviously we had a few incidents at the start, and it seems that he's doing really well here. Again, his tyres will feel at the end, and they might go soft or medium towards the end. As once again a tickly cough. But there's a train starting now to form behind the Racing Point, so it might not be too long before he is outside the points, because Trem is now 7/10, half a second behind. So the Red Bull might get the job done here. In terms of VRS, they're very similar VRS, that's just identical. So at the moment the Red Bull drivers have to give me a second while, so I'll have to just sort something out of that in a second. Returned, and Tremor is still behind Mars, and we've got 5 comments on the stream then. We'll have a look at who's talking. Energetic saying bus driver present, unfortunately the bus driver is not with us tonight, but at least he can come along and support his other drivers and support his teammate. Support his teammate and the one who's in his seat tonight. Unfortunately I believe he's down in 14th, so he's not in the points. But he's on the soft, so he might still get the fastest lap, which will be a consolation. Now this train is starting. The train now is starting to form here, and Treminator is all over the back of Martin. He should get the job done into turn 1. Meanwhile, we've got the Alan and E-Reg as well close together, and Trem is through to P7. So fantastic move there, and now Miles will be under pressure from E-Reg as Isaac to the inside. Ooh, bit of contact there, but he carries on, and E-Reg is spun, and he's hit the wall, and he's got wing damage. And Fatality to go to the outside, and that nearly sends E-Reg into the wall, and E-Reg has hit the wall, and E-Reg has retired. So not the initial contact, but the contact with Fatality, or in fact it was actually Ole, apologies there, that unfortunately has ended E-Reg's race. So that's both McLarens out. So unfortunate as well, as Jonathan does get a 5-second penalty, and it is a full course safety car as well. Well, just a normal safety car, so that little bit of contact has caused a safety car, and that has flipped the race on its head completely, because now I assume most drivers will want to go soft to the end. Now this is interesting. Jonathan has gone out on mediums, but Galato and Andreas have all done soft. Now this has benefited Andreas because Droftas is down in 5th place. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but Droftas is now down into 5th. And Paulie Orange is now leading the race, but by the time, as we can see there, as all the, I believe that's the Ghost of Lost Souls and Harvey Lee's there, the lap's car. But when the other drivers catch up, which you will do before the end of the lap, Paulie Orange, if he does pit, will be down the back. So I can guarantee that the fresh softs will be quicker than the old hards. So he's the only driver on hards. I believe that the lap cars are able to go past, but again, this is a tricky one, a grey area. I'm not quite sure whether this lap cars will go past, and yeah, there we go. So Harvey's will be able to unlap himself, so maybe his race isn't over yet. And talking of races not over, Ole, fantastic drive, as Harvey's has got disqualified from the session for ignoring yellow flags. That's just taking another twist then. So that's the 6th retirement of the race, and Harvey Lees is out of the race as he breaks position. So he goes to overtake the safety car, and it disqualifies him. Codemasters, what's going on? We're down to 13 runners, or we should say 12, because Lost Souls' Ghost is driving, not Lost Souls himself. FDH though has got an opportunity now to catch up with the field, so he wasn't lapped when the safety car came out. So he's the other end of the track, so the safety car won't be in until the end of lap 27. I believe lap 28 even, so we'll only have 6-7 laps of racing, which might actually benefit Jonathan perhaps, but again those soft tyres will be a lot quicker, will go off as well. Again, Paul Owens will have to defend from an army of cars behind him, because if he pits now, I believe he'll probably come out behind the Fatality, so he'll be down out the end of the points. So like I said about the podium, commentator's curse has flipped the race on its head. We've now got Paul Owens, Jonathan and Galato in the top 3, as we've got a bit of a kerfuffle going on here. I believe Codemasters is slight again, and that is the 5-second for overtaking Lost Souls. So any second now, Droftas will get one as well, and so will Treminator. It's just because Lost Souls is a ghosted car, and the game thinks that it's still someone's driving him or driving the car. So when you overtake him, the game is very confused and gives you a 5-second penalty for no reason. Codemasters, get that fixed, will you? It's unfortunately that's going to change the penalty situation as well, because if drivers already had 3-second penalties, that's another 5-second on top. So whilst we're in the safety car, we'll go through the top 12 then, shall we? So at the moment it is Paul Orange that leads the race, and he's followed by Jonathan Cox in the Alpha Towers, the championship leader. Galato at the moment has had some really good races. Can he finally get a good race here? He's had some difficult ones as of late, but is in a very nice position to be in P3. Andreasen in P4 on the softer tyres. He'll be hoping to get up into the top 2 with Galato. With Jonathan, obviously the softs will be quicker to warm up, so we do go round for another lap. We've got Droftas in P5 then. Mercedes driver, I thought he had it in the bag until the safety car, so he's got some work to do. Treminator, Aylin and Fatality all on 5-6 lap old medium, so maybe not a bad position. Immortal, Mars and Ola then, or Immortal and Mars round off the top 10. the Ferrari driver just outside the points, so his opportunity here. And FDH's race again has also been saved after having some problems. FDH, okay, I see 81 there with the 81. I believe he's wearing the We Race One helmet, which I've got to say is lovely. So we'll check the penalties then, shall we? As of lap 27, so Paul the Orange currently only has he currently has 2 3-second penalties. Jonathan in a very nice position at the moment with only the 5-second, which I believe will be removed because of the glitches and whatnot, all but that from the speeding in the pit lane. So it won't be served unless there is a very late safety car. Galato, that penalty for the glitch, that should be ignored, so he's got no penalties at the moment. Andreas currently on a 5-second penalty, but again, you have to ignore these ones. This is just Co-Masters, it's horrible work. So Droftas on no penalties, and that's one thing to add. Treminator, has he got any penalties at the moment? He's got the 1 penalty. Aylin, just the 1 warning. Yeah, that's good to see, so no penalties for him. Fatality currently has 12 seconds of penalties. Immortal has 2 penalties, then the 5-second as well. However, these are sessions, so unfortunately for the Renault driver, after that unfortunate disqualification, which I believe it was right to have the safety car. I thought that's how it worked. It was a lapped car. Him and Lossos were the only ones, and Lossos was behind. So at the moment for Mars, that is 2 penalties. Ole has 2 as well. FTH has just the 1. And obviously we'll take a lot lost souls, but it doesn't really change anything because he's a ghosted car. So we are racing again then, and safety car is in this lap, and away we go then. Tremblay gets a 5-second time penalty, that'll be for the ghosted car, and Paul Owen gets a good restart. Meanwhile, Jonathan and Galato into turn 1 then, and Galato goes to the outside, but Andreas will get involved. Can he get the move done? What a move there by Galato! What a fantastic outside move, as I might have a voice crack. And Jonathan can't respond, and now Andreas to the inside on those softer tyres. Has he got the move done? To the outside, yes he has. And now Galato is all over the back of Paul the Orange. So maybe it wasn't a very good strategical call there by the half. Maybe it won't work out after all. 7 laps to go then, so very happy that I did, well, very lucky that I did come off the pause menu. So keeping the penalties in mind, at the moment Galato was in a very nice position compared to Paul the Orange. With the penalty plus those older hard tyres. Look at this Galato already pushing. Andreas not too far behind. Look at this though. The Renault is so close behind that Haas. He's practically kissing the rear wing as Andreas brakes very late there. But Jonathan's also involved in the battle as well as he brakes very much later. And there's already a gap between Droftas and the nearest car, Terminator, with Aylin 4/10 behind him. So again, they're on relatively fresh mediums and they've had time to warm the tyres up again, so they're maybe not in too much of a bad position, but again, Terminator, fantastic drive here. Again, first points for the first time in a while, so it's good to see Mr. Consistent as Paul the Orange and Andreas. No, it is Galato, and Paul the Orange has conceded the lead to Galato. So JT Galato has taken the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix there. Andreas not too far behind the Haas driver. As this is turning into a very exciting last few laps then, what is in store? There's Galato, Orange, Andreas, Jonathan, and Droftas not too far behind as well. Now Andreas will want to get the move done so he can stay with Galato. Into the chicane we go, brakes so much later than Orange. Oh, I thought he was going to go into the back of him. He's just got so much more confidence with the car. Jonathan, meanwhile, still staying with Andreas, so it shows he's got the pace even on the harder tyres. Perhaps he should have gone for the soft, but again, if he don't feel confident with the tyre situation, mediums is the best bet. It's a safe option again. If he can stay out of trouble, it might be in a good position at the end of the race if everyone's all still closed up together. But that gap is getting bigger between Droftas and Terminator, so in terms of penalties, the worst he could probably do might be 5th at the moment. But again, anything can change in these last few laps, but there are definitely 2 trains between the top 5 and then the rest of the grid, and including the Ghost of Lost Souls, but we'll have to ignore that. Meanwhile, Andreas then on the back of Paul the Orange into turn 1. Andreas goes to the outside of Paul the Orange. Will he give him the move? He does. This fantastic racing, and Andreas is through them with 5 laps to go. Can he catch up on the Renault? He shuts the door, gets the job done. Fantastic job there. And now Droftas is past Jonathan as well. So Jonathan is really struggling on those medium tyres. So he was second at the restart. He's now down to 5th. So I wouldn't even say down to the tyres because Droftas has just taken it. And Paul Orange gets another penalty as well. There's another battle going on as well as Ole goes so wide off the track. And we've got the AC Immortal and Mars side by side, and Mars spins. And Mars has hit the wall. Oh no! as a Racing Point driver there, makes slight contact with AC Immortal. Just one of those things on that inside curb, that horrid inside curb, might I add. But Droftas is right on the back of Paulie Orange as Galato gets the 3-second time penalty now. Now this might change things because Galato has got his first official penalty of the race. Now we didn't have any beforehand, but because of that dodgy Codemasters, whatever's wrong with this game sometimes under the safety car. Meanwhile, we'll forget about that because Joss is on the back of Paulie Orange, and Paulie Orange it's inevitable he was going to drop back. But these two were first and second, now the battle for third and fourth, and the side by side as we head down under the bridges. Joss is going to get the move done here. He will do, and Paulie Orange just can't respond to it. He hasn't got the tyres to push. And now Jonathan will be able to get past Paulie Orange as well on 20 lap old hards as well, That's a fantastic job there. But I can see maybe even falling back to 5th, 6th or even 7th, because Aylan right now is all over the back of Treminator. And this is another battle to note as well. So we have lost 6 drivers from the race, both McLarens, both Alfa Romeos, a Racing Point and a Renault, unfortunate disqualification. We've got one Renault at the bottom and one Renault at the top at the moment, who's now 2 seconds ahead of Andreas. So this is interesting. Now Andreas is pulling away from Droftas as well, but in saying that, Droftas is actually still gaining on the Williams driver, so this is interesting. Just under a second, has he got DRS now? And he does do on the main straight. Now he'll be able to pull away from Jonathan perhaps, because Paulie Orange might add, so it's 1.1 seconds. Jonathan will have DRS, but he just doesn't seem to have the pace at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on here with Jonathan. He seems to be struggling. Hopefully he can get past the half. He should be able to roll with the tyre situation. He goes into overtake, but once again, yeah, he's just struggling. Meanwhile, the battle then as Aylan and Treminator side by side for P6 to bet to the rest. Aylan to the inside. Has he got the move done? We'll see now. To the outside, Aylan around the outside. Treminator still keeping his nose, and this is good battling. As Jonathan gets a 3-second time penalty as well. But that's a fantastic move there by Aylan. He's got the move done on Trem. This might leave him now vulnerable to fatality. And Ole and Immortal and FTH just battle for the final, for the final 3 or 4 points, which is interesting because of the whole penalty situation. This could also just completely change. The penalties have gone out of my head. I can't remember them, but that doesn't matter because we'll focus on the on-track battles at the moment. And on lap 32 or lap 35, this second half of the race has flown by. Fantastic racing. 3.5 seconds now between that 5th and that best of the rest, like I was talking about. These few have been in a class of their own today. You got to say. Obviously, driving by them all kind of problems of their own. It's good to see like drivers like Ole and Fatality back up after being down near the back after instant start and whatnot. So Jonathan now to the outside of Paulie Orange into turn 1 with 3 laps to go. Has he got the move done? He has done, and he'll have DRS as well. So Paulie Orange falling back, but really good move there by Jonathan, and he is finally being very patient. Respect to him there. They're talking about being patient. Droftas is all over the back of Andreas now. 2.5 seconds is the gap between Galato and the Williams driver here. I genuinely thought Andreas would be able to catch up with Galato, but again, he's had a fantastic race. You know, starting on pole and then soft, doing the 2-stop. And the safety car gained a bit of luck there, but you need a bit of luck as well as talent. You know, it's fantastic to see him up there. He's definitely had it. All the races I've commented on, he's been up there. Again, commentated Curse, don't want to speak too soon, but 2.5 seconds, he seems to have got the job done. So hopefully he can stay out of trouble for his last couple of laps, because he has been quite unlucky with incidents as of late. But even with his first race in Spain, he was definitely a very quick driver. So Mars did pit then, so he's all on his own then, down in 12th place. As I believe Ross Souls is over 45 seconds behind, he's a lap down. So we'll go back with a battle then as Droftas with 2 laps to go. Droftas to the outside into turn 1. Has he got the move done? Andreas will break later. The Welshman and the Swedish driver side by side then on the back straight. As Andreas conceded his first second place, and he has, and Droftas is through, and this will bring Jonathan in as well. Has dropped a fantastic move there, and on the medium tyres, might I add, has got through. Now what can he do on his final lap? It's a fantastic drive, very patient and gone to game. I think we didn't have him down to be in the top 3. I generally thought these soft runners had got the job done with getting past the medium runners of Jonathan had that difficult restart, but now that's brought the AlphaTauri back in, and don't discount Paul Orange because he's only a second behind. But at the moment, Jonathan all over the back of Andreas at the moment now as well. So maybe them soft are starting to wear off, and it might give Dross an opportunity with the last lap. But as I said about the Renault, he seems to have had the whole weekend under control. He had a fantastic qualifying, a fantastic start, and apart from the little blip in the middle, as Jonathan now goes to the inside of Andreas, but Andreas manages to keep him behind. So maybe he's now struggling with his tyres. So then once again the race flipping on his head. The soft runners perhaps thought they had an advantage, and now it's coming back in favour with the mediums, and Paul Orange is now getting involved as well, as he's only under a second behind. As now Jonathan to the outside has got the move done on Andreas for P3. So the Williams driver on the final lap of the race has fallen out of the position places. Now keep in mind with penalties, obviously things will change because of unfortunate fast-lane penalties. I'll interview the drivers as normal for the P3, but we'll have a little chat with the ones or any drivers who perhaps might get in the top 3 because of penalties and whatnot. That's how it'll work tonight. So we'll go back then with the race leader then. Galato has not done a single thing wrong this race. He was behind FTH and Trem, and I thought for a while that Paul Orange had got the job done, and then obviously with Droftas starting on those mediums, he was in a nice position. Safety car came out, he was able to jump on them softs, and this last stint he's been on his own, just really good to see. And Galato is going to come through now, I think, to win his second race of the season, although it could be his third, I could be wrong, I'll have to check that up. But Galato at the moment, yeah, he's on course for another win this season. Around the final corner then has Droftas started to gain on. It doesn't matter because Galato wins in Hungary depending on penalties, but he should have done it. No, it won't be. It'll be Droftas that wins. And Andreas just jump up to third. Oh no, it doesn't, because it's Aylin that gets second. Aylin with no penalties gets second place. Wow. And Ole, as Galato actually on the line gets a puncture. Galato got the puncture and he's dropped down to third. Wow! And Andreas in P4. Jonathan P5. Paul Orange P6. Ole and Trem complete 7th and 8th. And then just rounding off the points is FTH, good back drive from him. And Immortal, another solid run there for the reserve. But that ending though, wow! Now in terms of penalties, I believe it will be Glass that will get that second place still. Because of the 5-second penalty, but like I said, I'll invite the drivers as usual because penalties might not be moved and whatnot. But wow, that race was completely expected. Now Aylin, definitely deserving driver of the day, completely out of nowhere has got second place in the race. Take my hat off to him, he was nowhere this race, no offence to him, but again, that's what a lot of good drivers do, they stay out of trouble and then get the job done. But yeah, that's your top 3 then. So it is it's Droftas that takes the winner again. So for the 3rd race in a row, Droftas is your winner. Not on track though for the 2nd time in a row. You have Aylin in 2nd place and Galato is 3rd, who I thought when he crossed the line had won the race. So unfortunately it isn't a win. Now in terms of the penalty situation, we'll have a quick gander then at who got what. But your winner for today, Mars got the fastest laps, so I thought I'd add that. So Droftas does win from Aylin, who fought from 16th with the 1-stop, finishes 2nd, that's fantastic. No penalties either, there were the only 2 drivers to, so you can definitely see who's very much stays out of trouble and you get the job done. So Galato and Andreas 3rd and 4th, Jonathan, Orange, Ole, Trem, FTH, good double points there for Red Bull. Immortal rounds off the top 10. So I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll get the lads in for a chat in the party and we'll have a little discussion about what went on there. Again, this is pending on penalties. Again, there'll be a lot of reports tonight, I think, from that very bizarre 5-second penalties for a lot of the drivers, including Galato. I thought Droftas has got one, but he hadn't, so that's explains why he won the race, obviously. So we'll get the top 3, in which will be, I don't think I have JT Galato, so unfortunately I might not be able to have a chat with him, but we'll see if we'll try and get him in. It'll be a bit of a faff, but hopefully we'll want to have a chat about the race. Obviously he's P3, penalty wise he might even get the P2, so we'll tell you what we'll do, we'll get Droftas in as usual, which is becoming a regular occurrence at the moment in LNR. That's his 3rd race he's won in a row. He seems to be doing very well, so we'll add Droftas in, and we'll also add in who came 3rd. It was Aylan, so we'll add in Chris as well. So again, good drive from the lads tonight. I think it was a thoroughly enjoyable race as well. I think it took me by surprise that ending, but again, it was action from start to finish. You genuinely don't know who was gonna end up on top there, because it was constantly flipped on his head. And we're joined by the race winner then. So we're joined by Droftas. Good evening, Dan, once again. It feels like it's becoming a regular occurrence now. But once again, fantastic strategic call, and well done on the win.
Fantastic strategic call first time, not the second time when I drove into a wall.
Oh, well, at least you got the job done anyway, and you won the race. So I think you can probably ignore that fact that you crashed into a wall. But yeah, once again, I've got to say, a fantastic drive. I mean, what was your initial reaction when that final safety car came out? Was it did you really want it?
My initial reaction was, no, I didn't mind it, because obviously I had the race lead anyway, and the sensible thing for everybody would have been to box. So I just threw it into the pit lane, and unfortunately I left it a little bit too late and caught the wall. But got away with it, luckily.
That's good to see.
I lost a couple of positions, but that'll do. I'll take it.
That's good. That's good to hear. Again, yeah, just good drive again. It's not a lot really to say. I mean, it must become a regular occurrence for you and Paulie Orange in 1st and 2nd, because for the most of that race, Paulie Orange, which got to say, a good drive on those hard tyres. I think he finished P5, or he might have finished P7. I'll also check that again. My memory is not very good tonight, but again, good racing there, Dan, and just keep doing what you got to do. The thing is, there's not a lot for me to say right now, because you just do what you've got to do, and that's good to see.
Oh, cheers, mate. You can commentate every week, please.
No, so yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, I've had 3 exciting races, and again, you got the job done, not even on track, but like in Britain. I mean, did you know that Galot had handball penalties in front of you?
I didn't know until the last lap. He didn't get one until near the end, because when I got behind him, he had none. And then when it was the last lap, I checked again, and he had ones, which meant I could just chill out to make sure that gap didn't get the 3. So
fantastic stuff there, Dan. But again, just do what you got to do, and hopefully have a good result in Belgium next time out, pal.
Hopefully, yeah. Cheers, mate.
We've also got Aylan as well, Chris in the party. We'll chat with him as well. So first of all, I've got to say, I don't know if you were watching the stream before the end there, but your 2nd place took me by surprise. Did it take you by surprise? That's the question.
A little bit. I mean, obviously I messed up qualifying, and then I was going along nicely on the hards, and then I got battered from behind by Crooksy, which lost me plenty of time. And then I didn't even realise, but I had to change wing for my pit stop as well, so that lost me more. Obviously the safety car brought me further ahead, but all bunched it up, sorry. I don't know, I might as well give my 2nd place away, I guess, if these stupid penalties get taken off. That I deserved.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've got to say respect to you, mate. I mean, I just caught that incident with you and Crooks, and I think it was so unfortunate, you know. Again, 3 wide around this track, 2 wide around the track is difficult as it is, so having 3 wide there, and it to result in that was so unfortunate. But the fact that you had wing damage, you had to pit, all them laps for wing damage, and then the fact you were able to be P6, not necessarily near the front runners, and be able to get that P2 is, again, my respect to you, mate. I think, again, a fantastic drive, and it shows what league racing is all about. Obviously it's fun, but it's also just unpredictable. You genuinely don't know what's going to happen until you cross that line, that last lap.
Yeah, exactly that. You summed it up. If things aren't going well, stay in. Don't quit. You never know what's going to happen, do you?
So talking in terms of moving on with the season, what's your goals? Is it still the championship, or is it just keeping these good results and just getting these podiums? Excuse me.
Not too sure. I mean, I think I'm like 40 points away from Coxey at the top, which, if he has a couple of bad races, it's not the biggest gap in the world. But me and Orange are leading the constructors, so that's my focus at the minute anyway, to make sure I just pick up as many points as I can. But I've had some bad luck lately, whether it be from my own driving or just the game being the game. But hopefully this turns a corner.
Absolutely, mate. I think a lot of the races this season, it's just been about staying out of trouble. You don't know what's around the corner, so fantastic drive there for P2. I don't know if you have JT Galato, so I can have a chat with him. I don't have him on my friends list. If any of you have him as a friend.
I don't, mate. I don't have him.
I don't think I do, mate. I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, in that case, we might just leave it there then. Until next week. But and I haven't got anything else. Would you like to say anything else? Any shout outs to anyone in the stream, lads?
Not positive ones.
Well, we'll leave that for another time. Well, on that bombshell, I'm gonna leave it there. So until next week, in what is probably everyone's favourite track, Spa-Francorchamps at Belgium. Fantastic track, very very nice track, amazing track. So until next time, I've been VLNUF1.